Chapter 3654. 1. The old witch absorbed Wang Xian's blood essence and was sent to the Dragon Palace by Wang Xian. She then summoned her holy kingdom to the Dragon Palace. This was equivalent to Wang Xian's Dragon Palace suppressing the old witch's holy kingdom. In addition to the control of the divine dragon blood essence, unless the old witch's strength far exceeded Wang Xian's, her life would always be in the hands of Wang Xian. Greetings, Dragon King. After summoning it again, the old witch bowed to Wang Xian with great respect. Her life was in the hands of Wang Xian. She naturally knew what she had to do. I have a healing treasure here. Let's recover first. Wang Xian waved his palm and a large amount of vitality fluid appeared in front of him. Vitality fluid, the vitality fluid of the fairies. The old witch's eyes lit up when she saw it. She quickly bowed and expressed her gratitude. Thank you, Dragon King. Dragon King, I can't fully recover my strength now. I need to split another body to carry my strength. Otherwise, once I recover to my peak, I will lose my mind and become a war machine. It will be very troublesome to recover again. She lifted her head and continued to speak to Wang Xian. Wang Xian nodded slightly. He hesitated for a moment before waving his palm and eternal pregnancy fruits appeared in his hand. While you are recovering, consume the eternal pregnancy fruits to strengthen your mind. Let's see if it can resolve the situation of you turning into a demon. He instructed the old witch. Thank you, Dragon King. Thank you, Dragon King. The old witch looked at the hundreds of eternal pregnancy fruits in front of her with a passionate look in her eyes. Hundreds of eternal pregnancy fruits of the pinnacle of the universe venerable realm were extremely valuable. The old witch waved her palm and the vitality fluid beside her surged into her body. The vitality fluid was a treasure of the fairies. It was a healing treasure formed by the condensation of the moonlight gulf of the ancient pond. As a treasure of a pinnacle race, its effects were naturally powerful. It was a piece of cake for the old witch to recover from her injuries. A large amount of vitality fluid surged into her body, causing her aura to rise rapidly. Wang Xian was a little surprised at the speed of her strength increase. When her strength increased to a certain level, the old witch's expression began to distort and turn hideous. Her body trembled violently and her energy began to go out of control. She hurriedly consumed the eternal pregnancy fruits one by one. After swallowing the eternal embryo fruits one by one, her aura stabilized once again. His strength continued to rise. Whenever she couldn't control herself, she would take the eternal pregnancy fruit. If one consumed too many eternal pregnancy fruits, the effects would be greatly reduced. But lowering was one thing. After all, it was useful. With time. The old witch is getting stronger and stronger? He was much stronger than when Wang Xian fought him. Dragon King, if I want to recover to my peak without losing control, I might need hundreds of eternal pregnancy fruits. Taking the eternal embryo fruit to the end? The effect will be very little. Said the old witch to Wang Xian after more than 10 hours. Nothing? Continue to take it. With a flick of his palm, Wang Xian took out another 100 eternal pregnancy fruits. Although the value of the everlasting pregnancy fruit was very high, he had too many of them. Even if he had to consume 200 eternal pregnancy fruits? An old witch in exchange for peak power? It was worth it. If the old witch could maintain her rationality, coupled with her strongest power, there wouldn't be many who could be her opponent in the entire invincible domain. The old witch continued to level up. Wang Xian watched quietly from the side. Following which, another 100 eternal pregnancy fruits were consumed. The old witch's strength was gradually reaching her strongest state. In the past, she would lose her rationality in such a state. She would become a crazy demon. But now, she could still maintain her rationality. I feel that my mind is very clear. I feel that I will be able to break through to the Universe Lord realm soon. I'm going to break through. I'm going to break through. At this time, the old witch suddenly roared with excitement. She looked at her own body and tears welled up in her eyes. She saw the cultivation path ahead of her and the way to break through the shackles. You're confident of breaking through? Wang Xian was taken aback as he looked at the old witch in surprise. Yes, Dragon King. Yes. My mind is very clear now and I'm also very clear about my future cultivation. I feel that I have great confidence in breaking through the shackles. Maybe it won't take much money for me to break through completely. The old witch said with an excited expression. Oh, that's good. Wang Xian was also a little surprised. Once the old witch broke through, it would be equivalent to having another Universe Lord realm expert in the Dragon Palace. And once the old witch broke through, she would probably have the strength of a second-order universe lord. She would definitely be a great help. This kind of breakthrough should belong to breaking through with strength. My strength is already strong enough. In the past, my mind couldn't keep up and I couldn't find a way to break through. Now that my mind is stable, I can see the cultivation path ahead. Coupled with my powerful strength, I can definitely break through the realm by force," said the old witch excitedly. She knelt in front of Wang Xian and said, "Thank you, Dragon King, for your help. Wuxia is very grateful. I'll serve you with the rest of my life." Get up. This is also your own good fortune." Wang Xian was in a good mood as he nodded with sparkling eyes. It wasn't easy to produce an expert in the Universe Lord realm. Even the experts of Dragon Palace were shocked. After cultivating to the pinnacle of the Universe Lord realm, they also needed to comprehend and find the opportunity to break through. Even if the Dragon Palace had a heaven-defying treasure like the Advancement Seed, it could only produce one in 1,000,000 years. 1,000,000 years for an expert of the Dragon Palace to break through. If the Dragon Palace wanted to be truly strong, they still needed to cultivate themselves. "Let's go. Follow me and sweep the entire invincible domain," said Wang Xian to the old witch with a smile. The old witch bowed her body and stood beside him. It was a complete surprise that he had subdued the old witch. Next, he was prepared to continue selling eternal pregnancy fruits. Wang Xian brought the old witch along and flew towards the trading center. As Wang Xian was rushing over, the battle between him and the old witch had caused a huge commotion in the trading center and the invincible domain. The old witch has captured the Dragon King's doppelganger. She wants to use the art of curse to make the Dragon King surrender to her and hand over the eternal pregnancy fruits. I wonder if she will succeed. The old witch is the strongest sorcerer in the invincible domain. If she uses witchcraft to deal with the Dragon King in her lair, the Dragon King will be in deep trouble. He won't even have the chance to fight back. I think the Dragon King is going to be unlucky. After all, it's the old witch who did it. Yes, she's the old witch after all. Her strength is much stronger than the crazy demon seal. Who can withstand her long-range curse? Chapter 3655. The experts around the trading center of the invincible domain were discussing in shock. The old witch's strength was considered very strong even among the crazed demons. Especially since the old witch has a handle on you. And a doppelganger was the biggest weakness of a curse sorcerer. When a terrifying curse sorcerer cursed you in her own lair, you wouldn't be able to resist at all. Because you wouldn't even know how to resist. In the face of endless curses, who could resist? Even the Dragon King couldn't do it, right? Swish, swish, swish. That Dragon King seems to be targeted by the old witch. Around the trading center, a group of more than 10 angels flew over. When they heard the discussions around them, they raised their eyebrows slightly. "Sir, not long ago the Dragon King's doppelganger was killed by the old witch. She wants to curse him. We don't know the details yet, but some curious experts are flying towards the old witch's lair to check it out." A subordinate of an angel expert respectfully reported. "Oh." The experts from the angel tribe raised their eyebrows slightly. "I don't want the Dragon King to die in the hands of the old witch. The Dragon King has a lot of everlasting fruit in his hands. If we can capture the Dragon King, those everlasting fruits might be ours. We might even have a chance to obtain the everlasting fruit tree." An angel expert said plainly. "Although the Dragon King is strong, he has a lot of treasures in his hands. Let's wait for the news. Whether he dies or not, it's good news for us." Yes, even if he doesn't die, he's probably injured by the old witch's attack. Several angels were chatting amongst themselves. "Look, the Dragon King is here. He's really here. That's not right. It's not the Dragon King's real body. It's only an ordinary third-order universe lord. It should be his doppelganger. Why is his doppelganger back? What's going on? What's going on between the Dragon King and the old witch?" At this time, the surrounding people exclaimed in surprise. Everyone around the trading center looked over, and their eyes were filled with shock. They saw a doppelganger flying towards the trading center and looking around with a smile on his face. The doppelganger came to the trading center. With a wave of his palm, an eternal pregnancy fruit appeared in front of him. "Continue the transaction, the same price as before." As he spoke, all the old monsters around him heard him clearly. The Dragon King has settled the matter with the old witch and is now back to sell the eternal pregnancy fruit? It can't be. The Dragon King should have solved the problem of the old witch. What about the old witch? In the surroundings, some of the old monsters were discussing in shock. The old witch wanted to deal with the Dragon King, But the Dragon King had returned in just a few days? Thus, he used his doppelganger to continue selling the eternal pregnancy fruits. He had solved the problem with the old witch? Or was there something else? Although the crowd of old monsters was shocked, many old monsters who did not manage to purchase the eternal pregnancy fruit still went over to trade with the Dragon King of the Dragon Palace. This time, some of the old monsters who originally had their own thoughts? He also restrained his thoughts. Even some of the stronger teams were looking at Wang Xian with flickering eyes, not daring to act recklessly. Everyone knows the old witch's strength? He took away the Dragon King's avatar. How could a sorcerer do that? This was already a great advantage. What if they couldn't do anything to the Dragon King and he wasn't even injured? What about the Dragon King's strength? He was too strong. Initially, some teams were prepared to join forces to deal with Wang Xian. Now they had to reconsider. Time ticked by. Wang Xian continued to sell the eternal pregnancy fruit. This allowed him to reap more and more rewards. On the 5th day, a piece of news spread and caused a huge uproar. Some old monsters from the invincible domain went to the old witch's lair to check it out. In the end, they saw a shocking piece of news. The old witch's lair, the hut in the forest in the invincible domain? It was in ruins and basically destroyed. Surrounding? Obviously, there had been an intense battle that destroyed the entire hut in the forest. The old witch's lair was destroyed, and the old witch was nowhere to be seen. Now, the Dragon King had appeared in the trading center? What did this mean? Could the old witch have been killed by the Dragon King? How is this possible? That's the old witch, the strongest sorcerer in the invincible domain. In her lair, shouldn't she be the strongest existence in the invincible domain? Yet the old witch's lair was destroyed. How strong is he? Could the old witch have been killed by him? Crazy demon seal and the old witch. This Dragon King has killed 2 crazy demons from our invincible domain? This is unimaginable. How strong would the old witch be in her lair? Could she go against 3 or 4 crazy demons? Yet she was destroyed by the Dragon Palace. She might have been killed by the Dragon King. At this moment, all the experts and old monsters from the invincible domain were completely shocked. The old witch's lair was destroyed. She was the strongest sorcerer in the invincible domain. In her lair, she was almost the strongest existence in the invincible domain. Yet, the fate of such an existence was unknown. This was obviously done by the Dragon King. How strong was the Dragon King? Unimaginable. The old witch's lair was destroyed, and she might have been killed by the Dragon King? When the dozen angels from the angel tribe heard this news, their eyes narrowed and their faces were filled with shock. Isn't his strength too insane? Such strong strength. Are we strong enough to destroy the Dragon King? One of the angels could not help but ask. They had a powerful angel army. They even had 500 third-order universe sovereigns. But the strength displayed by the Dragon King made them doubt if they could kill the Dragon King with just the angel army alone. We need to investigate the situation. If the Dragon King is really that strong, we need to report this matter to the third prince. One of the experts from the angel tribe said. The strength displayed by the Dragon King was too strong. Third-order universe sovereigns were required to deal with a true first-order universe sovereign. At least 30 of them were needed. And a mad devil could easily kill a first-order sovereign realm existence. That Dragon King was able to kill the old witch who could go against 3 or 4 crazy demons in her lair. To them, it would be extremely difficult to kill the Dragon King with their current strength. Of course, this was under the premise that the old witch was killed by the Dragon King. I really don't understand. How could the Dragon King be so monstrous? The group of experts from the angel tribe sighed in their hearts. If the old witch was dead, then the Dragon King would have killed 2 crazy demons from the invincible domain. Chapter 3656. The news that the old witch was suspected to have been killed by the Dragon King had caused a huge uproar. However, Wang Xian was still in the trading center, carrying out transactions with a smile on his face. Every transaction was a huge haul. Since he came to the invincible domain, the number of innate spiritual treasures in his hands had reached about 5,000. 5,000 pieces, that was definitely a huge number. For some of the weaker races, an innate spiritual treasure was equivalent to a clan's treasure. However, in the invincible domain, the weaker ones were stronger than ordinary third-order universe sovereigns. Many experts could easily annihilate a strong race when they went out. Take the 100 Cities Alliance for example. Even the massive 100 Cities Alliance only had 1 third-order universe sovereign. An expert with such strength could casually establish a force or a city outside. They all had many innate spiritual treasures. 5,000 innate spiritual treasures could allow the experts of the Dragon Palace to nurture their own powerful Dragon Ball. For the next month, Wang Xian continued to trade in the trading center. However, as time passed, the number of transactions decreased. After all, there were limited experts in the invincible domain. Those who could get the news had basically rushed over. As for Wang Xian, he had sold about 1,200 innate spiritual treasures, and the number of innate spiritual treasures had reached 6,000. Experts are getting fewer and fewer now. On the last day, Wang Xian stayed for the whole day, and only one expert came to make a purchase. Basically, it had reached the saturation point. Time to go somewhere else. His gaze swept around as he muttered to himself. The eternal fruit was just an accident. Now, it was time to proceed according to the original plan. His figure moved and he flew straight out. The transaction is complete. If you want to buy eternal fruit in the future, forget it if the quantity is small. But if there are more than 20, you can contact me on the Universe AI. Wang Xian's avatar said and flew in a direction. How many eternal fruit does the Dragon King have? He has sold at least 1,000 in the past month. The Dragon King must have a powerful eternal fruit tree. The eternal fruit is very effective for those top experts. The Dragon King has gotten a lot of innate spiritual treasures this time. He made a killing. The innate spiritual treasures he obtained this time are worth at least 4 or 5 innate cardinal treasures. In the trading center, the group of old monsters and their underlings were discussing Wang Xian's departure. There's the aura of the Dragon King on it. We should be able to find him through this. In a corner of the trading area, an old monster looked at the eternal pregnancy fruit in his hand and looked at his companions beside him. His companions nodded. Let's go. We'll go to the domain of the wild beast astral beast. Are you familiar with Wuxia? At the same time? Not far from the trading center? Wang Xian asked the old witch Wuxia when he saw his doppelganger had returned. Dragon King, the depths are the territories of the giant beasts of starry sky and the wild beast. They are very powerful and even I am no match for many of them. Wuxia stared at the forest on the other side of the river and said. Even such a powerful star behemoth hasn't made a breakthrough? Wang Xian revealed a curious look. The powerful giant star beast should be easier to break through than the experts of other races. There are breakthroughs. Those who break through will break through the space? Then leave the invincible domain and head to the mountains and seas. Those who don't break through will continue to stay in this space. Wuxia said, most of the giant star beasts and wild beasts in the invincible domain are born from the energy of the dead giant star beasts? After they are born? They don't have a race and it's also natural selection? Therefore there is no such thing as a powerful giant star beast breaking through and leaving with its tribe. Because they are born from the flesh and blood of the giant star beasts, they have some flaws. These flaws make it very difficult for them to break through. There is a strong competition between the giant star beasts and the wild beasts. They even kill and devour each other. Wang Xian nodded slightly after hearing Wuxia's introduction. The giant star beasts and the wild beasts on the other side of the river basically don't have any tribes, especially the giant star beast. They fight on their own. I've been using the reading app recently. There are many sources of books and the updates are fast. There are strong tribes among the wild beasts and they are also stronger. Wuxia added. Alright, do you know where the wild beasts are? Let's go and hunt them. Wang Xian asked her. I know a little. Wuxia nodded. She moved and led the way into the territory of the giant star beast. When they came to the other side of the river, lush trees grew. Unlike where the old monsters were, this place was full of vitality. Dragon King, in that direction about a day's flight away, there is a tribe of driftwood winged birds. There are more of them, about 5,000 of them. However, their strength is at the second-order Universe Lord realm. This is the limit of their bloodline growth. Wuxia pointed in a direction and explained to Wang Xian. More than 5,000 second-order Universe Lord realm wild beasts? Wang Xian's eyes lit up when he heard her. What kind of concept was that? If they could kill all of them, the Dragon Palace could increase the strength of more than 5,000 Universe Lord realm wild beasts. The value was insane. Driftwood winged birds are a tribe of wild beasts. They are weak but there are a lot of them. Once you provoke one you will be besieged. If more than 5,000 of them attacked at the same time, even I, at my peak, might be killed by them. Therefore, no one in the invincible domain dares to provoke them. Wuxia continued. Quantitative change led to qualitative change. More than 5,000 second-order Universe Lord realm driftwood winged birds could instantly kill a real Universe Lord. Even a crazy demon would not dare to provoke them. More than 5,000 of them are indeed strong. Wang Xian murmured. If Wuxia was not around, he would not dare to provoke such a group of wild beasts. However, with Wuxia around, Wang Xian was confident that he could eliminate them. Let's go. Let's speed up. The unbeginning sacred wings flapped and shrouded Wuxia. Wang Xian brought her along and flew towards the direction of the driftwood winged birds. With his speed, Wang Xian arrived in front of the driftwood winged birds in less than a day. Dragon King, I'll set up an array here. You can lure them over. Let's join forces and annihilate them. The old witch Wuxia looked around and said to Wang Xian. All right. Wang Xian nodded and his eyes were beaming with excitement. Chapter 3657. Wang. Wuxia began to set up the array. Wang Xian flapped his wings and stood guard around the perimeter. The driftwood winged birds were in front of him. Although they were strong, their individual strength was only at the level of a second-order universe lord. This wasn't very strong for Wang Xian. Even when he circled around the driftwood winged birds' territory, they wouldn't be able to sense him. Time ticked by as Wuxia continued to set up array after array. Setting up powerful array formations required a long time. Some array formations even required powerful materials. Without materials it couldn't be completed. Wuxia's old nest, her hut in the forest, had taken billions of years to build. That was why it had the strength to fight against 4 to 5 experts of the same level. Under normal circumstances, it would be difficult for a sorcerer to deal with 2 experts of the same level after a few days of setting up array formations. However, it was enough to deal with these driftwood winged birds. Dragon King is done. 2 trapping arrays and 5 killing arrays. Wuxia said to Wang Xian 4 days later. All right, wait here. Wang Xian nodded when he heard her. He moved and immediately flew towards the territory of the driftwood winged birds. He was fast and arrived within the territory in an instant. Unlike the surrounding forest, the trees in the territory of the driftwood winged birds were more luxuriant. Even the leaves were connected together, completely covering the area below. On these trees, there was a layer of energy that could block Wang Xian's ability to sense the area below. Whoosh! Crackle! Wang Xian flapped his unbeginning saint wings and gathered the power of wind and thunder. He aimed in a direction and launched an attack. There were many driftwood winged birds and they were very united. Once they were attacked, they would surround and kill in large numbers. When Wang Xian's attack landed, it was like a stone stirring up 1,000 ripples. It was as though countless horrifying existences were awakened under the cover of the leaves. Chirp chirp chirp. Chirp chirp chirp. Chirp chirp chirp. In an instant, an unusually ear-piercing sound was heard. The horrifying sound condensed into visible ripples in the void and engulfed Wang Xian. Ha! Feeling the ripples, Wang Xian narrowed his eyes and the Tai Chi dragon plate immediately floated around him. The 5 elements grindstone floated in the air and protected him with waves of energy. At the same time, the saint wings of no beginning flapped violently. What a powerful sound wave, what a terrifying attack. Wang Xian stared ahead in shock. These thousands of driftwood winged birds unleashed this strange sound wave attack at the same time. The sound wave completely fused together. This was equivalent to the combined attack of all the driftwood winged birds. Bam bam bam. As the sound wave attacked, the outermost layer of the earth attribute defense began to distort and collapse. The sound wave continued its assault on Wang Xian. The wind-type energy of the unbeginning saint wings resisted, but it was still defeated. Finally, it landed on the Tai Chi dragon plate, causing the Tai Chi pattern on the Tai Chi dragon plate to slightly deform. However, the sudden attack of the driftwood winged birds was stopped by Wang Xian. No wonder Wuxia doesn't dare to provoke these people. If she doesn't have enough strength to protect herself, she'll definitely die. Wang Xian stared ahead. In front of him, thousands of driftwood winged birds emerged from the trees below after their attack. Their entire bodies were green and they had fan-like wings. A pair of green eyes stared at Wang Xian as they charged towards him. Chirp chirp. The driftwood winged birds let out sharp chirps. Below Wang Xian, the trees and leaves seemed to have come alive as they attacked him. Swoosh. Wang Xian looked down and flapped his saint wings of no beginning, easily dodging the attacks. Roar roar. He moved and immediately transformed into his divine dragon body, displaying the true dragon body. True dragon body, fire divine dragon. Roar roar. He let out a loud roar as flames engulfed the area below him. At the same time, Wang Xian flapped his wings with terrifying flames and stared at the dozens of driftwood winged birds closest to him. Roar roar. At a terrifying speed, he arrived above the dozens of driftwood winged birds in an instant and the flames descended. Chirp. Tragic cries sounded as dozens of driftwood winged birds were instantly killed by Wang Xian. Chirp chirp chirp. Chirp chirp chirp. However, the death of dozens of their comrades had triggered the anger of the entire driftwood winged birds tribe. Sharp and angry chirps reverberated. This voice had greatly interfered with Wang Xian. Umph. Wang Xian snorted. The Tai Chi dragon coil circled around him to protect him as he shuttled through the air rapidly. His incredible speed prevented the sound wave attacks from focusing on him. Swish. 8 directional dragon pillars. Wang Xian let out a deep roar. Dragon pillars appeared in 8 directions with a divine dragon coiled around them. Boom. Chirp chirp chirp. The divine dragons on each dragon pillar launched their attacks. However, close to 5,000 driftwood winged birds flew out from below. They gathered together and spread out their wings. Below them, countless leaves floated up and shone brightly as they retaliated against the 8 directional dragon pillars. Bam bam. Deafening sounds of collision reverberated as the densely packed leaves smashed the 8 directional dragon pillars and shrouded Wang Xian. Wang Xian moved his palm and the 5 elements grindstone spun, forming waves of destructive aura that struck in one direction. Chirp chirp. Chirp chirp chirp. The 5,000 driftwood winged birds seemed to have sensed the threat from the 5 elements grindstone and let out sharp cries again. Trees flew up from the void as though they had a life of their own. They turned into trance and faced the attack of the 5 elements grindstone. Swish. Wang Xian made use of this opportunity to flap his unbeginning saint wings. His incredible speed once again gave him a huge advantage. He came to the side of the hundreds of driftwood winged birds in an instant and covered them with his dragon claws. Boom. Chirp chirp chirp. The horrifying dragon claws engulfed them. The hundreds of driftwood winged birds shrieked in horror. The powerful force killed them instantly. Chirp chirp. The remaining driftwood winged birds looked over with reddened eyes. Their wings were like tree branches. The wings of the driftwood winged birds grew longer and coiled together to form a horrifying whip that lashed at Wang Xian. Boom. The horrifying attack had Wang Xian dodging to the side immediately. Chirp chirp. The remaining 2,000 driftwood winged birds flew into the sky and spread their wings. Their wings were like a huge net that entangled with each other as they flew towards Wang Xian. This joint attack is a little insane. Chapter 3658. Wang Xian finally understood how terrifying the driftwood winged birds were. The entire race of driftwood winged birds was too good at teamwork. They could stack their strengths together to unleash a terrifying attack. Ear-piercing attack. Long whips gathered together to form a huge net that covered the sky. All sorts of powerful area of effect attacks headed towards Wang Xian. If Wang Xian was any weaker or slower, he might really have been killed by the driftwood winged birds. Lure them to where Wuxia is. I might need a lot of time to kill them here. Wang Xian looked at the huge net and long whips that were heading towards him. Wang Xian could still annihilate this group of wild beasts by himself. However, he might need a lot of time. Swoosh, swoosh. Wang Xian swayed his huge body and sent streams of flames towards the flock of driftwood winged birds. At the same time, he flew towards Wuxia quickly to avoid the attacks of the driftwood winged birds. Chirp chirp chirp. Chirp chirp chirp. The entire group of driftwood winged birds roared in anger because of Wang Xian's attack and the killing of their own kind. They withstood the streaks of flames and chased after Wang Xian furiously. The place where Wuxia had set up the array was very close to the nest of the driftwood winged birds. When Wang Xian came within the range of the array, he stopped, turned around and waved his dragon claws. The 5 elements grindstone attacked the driftwood winged birds. Chirp chirp chirp. The flock of driftwood winged birds let out sharp cries. A green meatball on top of their heads shone with green radiance. The radiance condensed into an extremely sharp phantom of the driftwood winged birds and met the 5 elements grindstone head-on. The driftwood winged birds belonged to the wild beasts of the wood and wind attributes. They had all sorts of attacks. Moreover, this was their territory and they had the geographical advantage. Hee hee. Brr. Brr. Wang Xian chuckled when he saw them. Following which, he let out a provocative roar and his dragon horns shone brightly. Towering dragon horns. A pair of terrifying divine dragon horns shone brightly and charged towards the driftwood winged birds like a terrifying and unique mountain peak. Swoosh swoosh swoosh. The flock of driftwood winged birds flapped their wings and covered their dragon horns with green seeds. When they arrived in front of the towering dragon horn, they instantly turned into monsters that looked like man-eating flowers and swallowed the towering dragon horn. At the same time, they continued to attack Wang Xian. We've entered the formation. Wang Xian smiled when he saw the flock of driftwood winged birds entering directly without sensing the surrounding spirit arrays. Dragon King, the driftwood winged birds have entered the perimeter. Please block their path of retreat. Wuxia's voice rang in Wang Xian's mind. Wang Xian nodded his head. Flapping his unbeginning sacred wings, he pushed his speed to the limit, circled around them and flew behind them. Chirp chirp. The group of driftwood winged birds locked onto Wang Xian. Their bodies glowed with green light as though they could sense Wang Xian's route. However, just as they were about to make their move, the scenery around them changed drastically. Formation, boundless golden sand burial. Formation, infernal inferno. Formation, black pupil imprisonment. A slightly hoarse voice rang out as Wuxia appeared in front of them. She held a powerful inborn cardinal treasure magic staff in her hand with 9 snake heads on it. Each of the snake heads emitted a powerful radiance. One by one, the spirit arrays attacked the flock of driftwood winged birds. Each of Wuxia's array formations could kill a first-order universe sovereign realm existence. With 3 spirit arrays activated at the same time, even the entire flock of driftwood winged birds had to deal with them with all their might. However, they were still dealing with Wang Xian's attack just a second ago. The 5 elements grindstone was still in front of them. At this moment, the 3 terrifying spirit arrays enveloped them. Chirp chirp. At this moment, the flock of driftwood winged birds cried out in panic. Their eyes were filled with panic. Inborn technique. Wang Xian had already arrived behind the flock of driftwood winged birds. When he saw this scene, he stared at the 5 elements grindstone and let out a low roar. Inborn technique. The powerful attack of the 5 elements grindstone. In an instant, the entire 5 elements grindstone spun rapidly. The shadows of inborn spiritual treasures attacked the surrounding driftwood winged birds. Thousands of shadows of inborn spiritual treasures exuded a powerful aura. Dragon breath of life. Wang Xian let out a low roar and opened his dragon mouth. A torrent of energy surged forward. 5 terrifying attacks landed on the entire flock of driftwood winged birds. Each of these attacks was comparable to the strongest attack of an expert from the invincible domain. The attacks launched at the same time were equivalent to the combined attack of 5 crazy demons. 5 crazy demons working together? That was impossible in the invincible domain. Not to mention 5 crazy demons, even 2 crazy demons working together had never happened before. Once the crazy demons went all out in a battle, they would definitely lose all rationality and only know how to kill. It was impossible for them to work together. Even if they could temporarily suppress their emotions, they wouldn't be able to hold on for long. The flock of driftwood winged birds was strong. However, they were only comparable to 1 or 2 crazy demons. If Wang Xian wasn't afraid of wasting time, he could annihilate them alone. At this moment, 5 attacks landed on the entire flock of driftwood winged birds. Chirp chirp chirp. All the driftwood winged birds let out piercing cries. The sound waves formed by their cries didn't spread out to the surroundings. Instead, they formed a strong defense around them. Chirp chirp chirp. Following which, the branches and leaves shrouded them in the middle. There were close to 5,000 driftwood winged birds stacked on top of each other. The driftwood winged birds on top of each other blocked the attacks first. Wang Xian raised an eyebrow slightly when he saw their defense. Rumble rumble rumble. At this moment, a series of terrifying attacks landed on the flock of driftwood winged birds. The waves of defense and the energy of the branches and leaves crumbled rapidly. However, these layers of defense managed to block the inborn technique in the 2 arrays. However, after the 2 arrays, the over 2,000 driftwood winged birds could only defend with their lives. Rumble. Rumble. Chirp chirp chirp. 2 loud sounds were heard, followed by tragic cries. Chirp chirp chirp. The over 2,000 driftwood winged birds below let out sorrowful cries. Powerful murderous auras were emitted from their bodies. Kill them. Wang Xian snorted softly. He swayed his huge dragon body and charged forward. Wuxia waved her staff and conjured several arrays to attack the flock of driftwood winged birds. Chapter 3659. Out of the original 5,000 driftwood birds, only 2,000 remained. The driftwood winged birds relied on their massive numbers to form powerful attacks. Now, with half of them dead, there were only 2,000 left. These 2,000 driftwood birds posed no threat to Wang Xian and Wuxia. Their combined strength was no longer a match for Wang Xian and Wuxia. 8 Dragons Doppelganger. With the attack of Wang Xian's Dharma power, 500 to 600 driftwood birds were easily killed. There was no suspense in the battle that followed. One by one, the driftwood birds were killed. Half an hour later, the last driftwood bird died. Dragon King, the wings of the driftwood birds are useful. They can be used to forge innate spiritual treasure staffs and other wind-attributed treasures. Wuxia looked at the carcasses of the driftwood birds and said to Wang Xian, although the value of a driftwood bird's carcass was not as high as an innate spiritual treasure, it was still valuable. 5,000 driftwood winged birds was definitely a huge resource. Wang Xian smiled and nodded. Compared to using them to forge innate spiritual treasures, the driftwood birds were more useful as resources for the Dragon Palace. What did 5,000 second-order universe sovereigns mean to the Dragon Palace? Currently, the Dragon Palace only had about 2,000 experts with the strength of a universe sovereign. Among them, there were about 200 third-order universe sovereigns. This was a strong force. Just the carcasses of the driftwood birds could increase the number of second-order universe sovereigns by 5,000. Or 500 third-order universe sovereigns. This was something that could double Wang Xian's strength and not just double it. In addition, Wang Xian had killed experts from the Crazy Demon Seal, Skeleton Clan, and Demon Clan in the Invincible Domain. There was no need to mention the innate spiritual treasures. Not only the carcasses of the driftwood birds, but also their god kingdoms and some treasures. Wang Xian murmured excitedly. He looked at Wuxia and said, Wuxia, look for the god kingdoms of the driftwood birds. See if they are within their territory. Yes, Dragon King. Wuxia nodded and used her sorcery to find the location of their nest. Wang Xian collected all the corpses and threw them into the Dragon Palace. He instructed Prime Minister Turtle to train the disciples of the Dragon Palace. Dragon King, the divine kingdom of the driftwood winged birds, is in their nest. Wuxia confirmed it before answering Wang Xian. Wang Xian nodded his head and flew towards the nest of the driftwood winged birds. The divine kingdom of the driftwood winged bird was a little strange. It looked like a giant bird's nest, similar to a dragon's cave in a dragon palace. But this did not affect the resources of these divine kingdoms. The devouring dragon could devour divine nations to increase its strength. A divine kingdom with roughly 5,000 second-order sovereign realm desolate beasts was enough to boost the devouring dragon's strength. The advancement of the devouring dragon was unlike that of other races. They had inherited the characteristics of the Zergs. As long as they had enough resources, they could continue to improve. They did not have the shackles of the universe ruler realm. However, there was one thing. The devouring dragon could only fight 2 levels higher, which was 1 level weaker than the peak races. Secondly, if he wanted them to possess the strength of a universe ruler, he would have to feed them with the god nation of a universe ruler. This was equivalent to killing a universe ruler realm expert and obtaining a god nation to strengthen them. These harsh conditions were no less stringent than ordinary breakthroughs. In the nest of the driftwood winged birds, Wang Xian also obtained many surprises. Powerful trees, divine grass, and divine fruits. As wood-based desolate beasts, these were essential. Let's go to the next place, said Wang Xian to Wuxia with a smile after collecting all the treasures in the old nest of the driftwood winged birds. Yes, Dragon King. There's a powerful desolate beast called the Phoenix Horseshoe Crab not far from here. It's extremely powerful, comparable to some of the top old monsters in the Invincible Domain. However, it's very cunning and possesses the bloodline of the phoenix. Its vitality is strong and it's very difficult to kill. Wuxia introduced to Wang Xian. All right. Wang Xian nodded his head and went on with Wuxia to hunt for the next target. 3 days later, they arrived at the territory of the Phoenix Horseshoe Crab. The Phoenix Horseshoe Crab is very cunning. Once it senses danger, it won't come out. I wanted to kill it and extract some of its bloodline. However, once I unleash my powerful strength, I lose my mind and this guy can easily shake me off. Once I split my body, I won't be able to kill it either. Wuxia said with a frown. It was obvious that she knew this desolate beast well. Wang Xian nodded his head. Right now, Wuxia could kill the desolate beast alone. However, she might have to expend some effort. But with Wang Xian around, everything would be much simpler. Wuxia quickly locked onto the Phoenix Horseshoe Crab's location through its aura. Kill it. The Phoenix Horseshoe Crab was a demonic beast with a fire attribute. It hid in the roots of the trees. When it saw Wang Xian and Wuxia, it did not hesitate and fled through the intertwining roots. It could sense the threat of death from Wang Xian and Wuxia. Crackle. When a lightning bolt landed on it, the power of searching the enemy through the void entered its body. Wang Xian smiled. He flapped his unbeginning sacred wings and gave chase immediately. With his speed, it was impossible for the Phoenix Horseshoe Crab to escape. Under the barrage of energy attacks, Wang Xian was able to kill it easily. Next, after killing the phoenix horseshoe crab, Wang Xian continued to instruct Wuxia. With Wuxia, who had lived in the invincible domain for billions of years, everything was very simple. Over the next period of time, Wang Xian began to hunt desolate beasts. Small groups of desolate beasts and powerful lone desolate beasts. In the next year Wang Xian hunted, and the rewards were exceptionally bountiful. Desolate beasts with combat strength at the second or third order universe sovereigns were rare in the outside world, unless one went to the Mountain Sea region. Otherwise, it would be very difficult to encounter a desolate beast at the second or third order universe sovereign realm. To the Dragon Palace this harvest was a huge resource. In this year, more than 100 desolate beasts with level 3 universe sovereigns had died in Wang Xian's hands. As they hunted, they went deeper into the invincible domain. Dragon King, if we go deeper we will encounter some giant space beasts. Compared to desolate beasts, the giant space beasts in the invincible domain are even more terrifying. The stronger the murderous aura and bloody aura, the more terrifying the strength of the giant space beasts. After a year Wuxia looked around and said to Wang Xian. Chapter 3660. The cosmic beasts in the invincible domain were all rather terrifying. In fact, the cosmic beasts were the pinnacle existences in the universe. Any giant star beast possessed extremely terrifying strength and talent. It was especially so in the land of mountains and seas. In the land of mountains and seas, some powerful cosmic beasts had not even broken through the shackles. In other words, they could easily break through from the universe supremacy realm to the universe lord realm. Kun was one of them. However, they were not the only ones in the universe. Some terrifying cosmic beasts and experts from the pinnacle races had to flee immediately when they saw them. Kun, for example, fed on divine dragons and phoenixes. It also liked to devour experts from other pinnacle races. One could imagine how terrifying its strength was if it could devour divine dragons and phoenixes. Let's go hunt the cosmic beasts, Wang Xian said to Wuxia. In the current invincible domain, Wang Xian did not think that any cosmic beast could be his match. With Wuxia he was confident that he could hunt any cosmic beast. Yes, Dragon King. Wuxia nodded her head. With a swift move she led Wang Xian to the right. Now that they were deep inside, the surrounding trees had already disappeared, and the surrounding void was filled with giant meteorites. Occasionally they could see some dilapidated buildings in the God Nation. In that direction there's a star beast called Lava. It's a fire-attributed star beast with an incomparably huge body. In the area where it lives, there are a large number of flaming meteorites. Lava star behemoth's strength is similar to that of Crazed Devil. Wuxia explained to Wang Xian as they flew. Wang Xian nodded and continued to fly forward. The temperature was getting higher. Not long after, flaming meteorites appeared in their line of sight. Rumble. Not far away there was even a sea of flames burning in the void. This is the Sea of Flames. Dragon King, we have stepped into the territory of the lava cosmic beast. There are usually treasures in the Sea of Flames. As Wuxia spoke, she moved and flew straight into the Sea of Flames. Wang Xian followed beside her. There really is. At this time, Wuxia's eyes lit up as she stared at a fiery red meteorite in the Sea of Flames. This was a very strange fiery red meteorite. Flames were constantly dripping down from the top. The flames dripped onto the fiery red meteorite, forming a small nest. The entire flaming meteor was incomparably brilliant, and it was also blooming with a bright luster. Connate numinous treasure. Wang Xian looked over and said, "Yes, many connate numinous treasures are formed naturally. This connate numinous treasure is not weak." The sorcerer waved his arm and the sorcerer's hand grabbed it and brought it to Wang Xian. This place is truly a treasure trove. I managed to obtain a connate spiritual treasure so easily. Wang Xian raised his eyebrows and said, "The place where a star behemoth lives must be a land of treasures. However, in terms of treasures, the greatest treasure in this space is that lava void behemoth," Wuxia said as she stared ahead. "We've already entered his domain and taken some things, but the giant lava astral beast hasn't appeared yet. Come on, let's keep looking ahead. Considering the size of star behemoths, it'll be very easy to find them." As Wang Xian spoke, he continued flying forward. After flying for another hour, an incomparably violent sound suddenly rang out. Wang Xian and the rest were taken aback by the sudden roar as they looked ahead in shock. That's the furious roar of the lava astral beast. What's going on? Is it a battle between star behemoths, or did other experts step into its domain? Wuxia said. The two of them continued flying forward. Soon, the scene in front of them appeared in Wang Xian's line of sight. This is... Wang Xian looked over and saw over 100 experts dressed in black besieging a huge star behemoth. Over 100 experts, even the weakest one was much stronger than an ordinary third-order universe sovereign. 2 of them were stronger than Demon King Tai Shui and the rest. Above them, a kettle-like connate cardinal treasure floated in the air. The water in the kettle flowed down like a terrifying waterfall with terrifying penetrative power. Below them was the lava astral beast that spanned over 1,000,000 kilometers. Its entire body was like a sea of fire as it stood upright in the void. Its body shape was similar to that of a human. On its body, flaming lava exploded continuously like a flaming meteorite that would explode at any time. A huge rope was held in the hands of dozens of experts as they prepared to attack the lava astral beast. This is... Wang Xian swept his gaze across and was surprised to see over 100 experts. These experts were very strong and the connate cardinal treasures in their hands were also very powerful. However, they were clearly not experts from the same race. There were phoenixes, tigers, humans, and sorcerers among the more than 100 powerhouses. There were even experts from other races. It was a rare sight to see more than 100 powerful experts working together in the invincible domain. They are devil breakers. They are experts from the circle of devil breakers. Wuxia, who recognized the group of experts, said to Wang Xian, "Devil breakers?" Wang Xian nodded slightly. This was a circle of experts from the Long River and could be considered as half a force. The experts of this force all aimed to break through to the universe sovereign realm. They had also reached an agreement that once an expert broke through, they would also share their breakthrough experience. There were close to 200 experts in such a force. Among them, there was even an expert at the Mad Demon level. However, that Mad Demon rarely appeared. Clearly, he wasn't in a good condition. Wang Xian sized them up one by one and realized that many of these devil breakers had bought eternal pregnancy fruits from him before. Moreover, they had bought quite a lot. Seems like someone beat us to it. Wang Xian mumbled to himself. Dragon King, given our strength, we can definitely chase away these devil breakers or even kill them. This lava astral beast will still belong to us. Wuxia said coldly. Wang Xian's eyes flickered. In the invincible domain, the strong preyed on the weak. It was much crueler than the outside world. Killing and robbing was a common sight. Don't come out first. I'll chase them away. Wang Xian said. He moved and exuded a strong aura as he flew forward. Boom. When Wang Xian flew over, a terrifying aura surged towards the battlefield. Chapter 3661. Rumble, Rumble. When Wang Xian flew forward, the powerful aura changed everyone's expression. The 100-odd demon breakers were shocked when they sensed a daunting aura charging towards them. Who's that? They hurriedly looked over with a solemn look on their faces. Such a daunting aura was even more daunting than the lava astral beast that they were fighting against. I'm taking this lava astral beast. All of you leave now. Wang Xian flew straight ahead and swept his gaze across all the experts indifferently. Ha! Retreat. Get out of the attacking range of the lava astral beast. It's the Dragon King. It's the Dragon King from the Dragon Palace. One by one, the experts from the Demon Destroyer Force looked at Wang Xian and shouted loudly. All of them retreated quickly to prevent the lava astral beast from attacking. At the same time, all of them were looking terrible. They were very strong and even had the confidence to kill this lava astral beast station. However, the Dragon King who had appeared out of nowhere was even stronger. The Old Witch was suspected to have been killed by him. The Old Witch was an extremely terrifying existence. Even the leader of the Demon Breakers wouldn't dare to say that he could defeat the Old Witch. The 100-odd Demon Breakers retreated from the attacking range of the lava astral beast and looked at Wang Xian bitterly. Dragon King, what's the meaning of this? An old man with an illusory palace above his head asked Wang Xian with a sullen face. I'm taking this lava astral beast. All of you leave now. Otherwise, don't blame me for not going easy on you. Wang Xian looked across all the experts and replied plainly. Dragon King, this lava astral beast is ours. We locked onto it first. The old man with the illusory palace above his head said with a sullen face. That's right, Dragon King. We, the Demon Breakers, aren't afraid of you. Opposite the old man, a divine tiger stared at Wang Xian and shouted. Eeh. Wang Xian chuckled. With a flick of his palm, a 5 elements grindstone appeared in his hand. On the 5 elements grindstone, waves of daunting aura swept across the surroundings. You guys didn't offend me. Therefore I won't fight you guys. Leave in 10 seconds. Wang Xian warned plainly. What treasure is that? Why is its aura so terrifying? Let's go. We are no match for him. He was able to kill the crazed devil seal and the old witch. His strength is not something we can contend against." The exorcist's expressions changed drastically. They looked at each other and whispered. His face was filled with unwillingness as he glanced at the lava astral behemoth. His figure moved and he retreated backward. When the roan void beast saw the group of fellows that surrounded it escaping, it roared furiously and stared at Wang Xian. His eyes were filled with a brutal look. Brr. With a wave of his arm, huge meteorites smashed towards Wang Xian. Hee magic breaker, you'd best not try anything funny. Scram immediately. Wang Xian bellowed. With a swift move, he charged towards the lava astral beast. So. Behind them, the group of demon destroyers quickly retreated, each of them looking extremely embarrassed. The hunting plan that we have been planning for over 100 years has been foiled by the Dragon King. Once we kill this lava astral beast, we will be able to improve tremendously. I can't take this lying down. A fire attribute expert growled in a low voice, his face filled with rage. The dozens of experts of the fire attribute also had mixed expressions. Why don't we wait for him to kill the lava astral beast and sneak an attack on him? The lava astral beast is very strong. Even if the Dragon King can kill it, he will consume a lot of energy. When the time comes, we might be able to kill the Dragon King. Moreover, the Dragon King has a lot of treasures with him. If we can get them. A fire phoenix flapped his wings and spoke with murderous intent in his eyes. His words caused the eyes of more than 100 experts to freeze slightly. No, it's too risky. The other party is an expert who can easily kill the crazed devil seal. An old man shook his head and objected. The strength of the crazed devil seal is not as strong as the lava astral beast. However, the chance of us sneaking an attack on the Dragon King is too small. An expert of the Divine Tiger clan shook his head. Are we going to give up on our plan of hundreds of years? For this plan, we have paid a huge price and prepared many treasures. A fire attribute expert continued to speak unwillingly. Let's report this to Lord Jin Tuesday. Lord Jin Tu has already reserved the heart of the lava astral beast. An expert of the Divine Tiger clan said. Lord Jin Tu has just obtained more than 80 eternal pregnancy fruits. He should be stabilizing his mind now. He might not be able to contact him. Let's give it a try first. More than 100 experts of the Circle of Exorcist floated in the void, waiting quietly. The prey of their Circle of Exorcist had been snatched away by the Dragon King. This made them feel very indignant. Their circle had experts of the crazed devil level. Other than the crazed devil level experts, there were also 2 other peak experts. With their strength, no forces dared to provoke them. Even the circle of other peak clans had to be wary of them in the invincible domain. Lord Jin Tu has replied? The old man in the illusory palace above his head spoke as he looked at the message on the universe AI in shock. What's wrong? The group of experts stared at him. Lord Jin Tu is rushing towards us now. He didn't say anything about the specific situation. The old man in the illusory palace above his head said to them. His words caused the surrounding 100 or so experts to reveal a look of surprise. Rumble. At the same time, in a cluster of palaces on the other side of the invincible domain, a figure was flying towards the other side of the river at a terrifying speed. This figure had a pair of golden blue wings with sparkling stars on them. He had a tail like a bee with sharp thorns on it. The position of his body was similar to that of a human. His pupils were also like bees and there were many golden dots in them. At this moment, his pupils were emitting golden radiance. After digesting more than 80 eternal pregnancy fruits, I can temporarily suppress my mind. There won't be any problems for at least tens of millions of years. In this state, my mind is clear and I even have a vague method of breakthrough. If I can absorb enough eternal pregnancy fruits, I might be able to complete the breakthrough and not lose my mind. Consume the eternal pregnancy fruits. Consume the eternal pregnancy fruits. Deep growls came from his mouth. Chapter 3662. The powerful effect of the eternal pregnancy fruit was beyond the Jin Tu's expectation. He had asked the other demon breakers to bring the fruit to him so that he could try it out. He didn't expect that after absorbing 80 eternal pregnancy fruits, he would be able to suppress the inner demons in his heart. He had regained his sanity. At the moment, he felt that he was in an exceptionally good condition. He could hold on for millions of years without going all out in battle. Moreover, he felt that once he solved the problem of his mind, he would be able to achieve a breakthrough. The eternal pregnancy fruit was fine. But he knew that he would need to consume more eternal pregnancy fruits, at least 100 more. According to his calculations, he would need to sell the only Khanate cardinal treasure in his possession to obtain more than 100 eternal pregnancy fruits. What he didn't expect, however, was that the other powerhouses in the circle of demon breakers would bring him this news. My strength is at an unprecedented peak. If I can maintain my sanity, my combat power will increase and I can cooperate with other demon breakers. The Dragon King has broken a plan of the demon breakers. I was going to use the lava galactic beast's heart to suppress my water elemental energy and mind, but now I have a better choice. I can't use my Khanate cardinal treasure to trade for the eternal pregnancy fruits, but if I want a large number of eternal pregnancy fruits. Jianghu, who had a pair of golden blue wings, suddenly came to a halt, and a thoughtful look appeared on his face. He turned on the universe AI and checked the information about the Dragon King. He frowned as he read the information. It will be difficult for me to kill that Dragon King with more than 150 Devil Breaker experts. That Dragon King has a large number of eternal embryo fruits, and his strength is even more terrifying. Both the crazy devil seal and the old witch died at his hands. So what if the crazy devil seal died, but the old witch's strength is extremely terrifying? The Jianghu murmured. His mind was clear and he was thinking about what to do next. He looked at the long river and flew downstream. After flying for dozens of minutes, he hovered above the river. He moved his palm and punched down. Boom! The energy fell into the river and stirred up a large area of the river. His sneak attack was not an attack but a gentle power. Buzz! In the long river below, the entire river water suddenly surged. On the surface of the river, an enormous human face slowly formed. Water demon, there's a good thing. It's a great opportunity for you and me. Are you interested? Jianghu floated above the river and looked at the gigantic face as he spoke. Jianghu, your aura is very stable. It looks like you've temporarily suppressed your inner demons. If you have anything to say, hurry up and say it. The huge face on the river replied. You should be able to tell my current situation. I'm doing very well now because I've obtained a large number of divine fruits that can stabilize one's mind. The Dragon King of Dragon Palace has many of these divine fruits. I have a premonition that if I can consume a large number of these divine fruits, I will be able to break through the shackles and reach the universe ruler realm. Jinan looked at him and said, Voila. As soon as he finished speaking, the gigantic face condensed into a figure. The figure was completely condensed from water. He raised his head and stared at Jinan. Dragon Palace? Who is the Dragon King? Water Demon asked. You'll know in a flash on the universe AI. It's extremely difficult for you to integrate your body into the river and calm your violent mind. As long as you have enough eternal pregnancy fruits, you don't have to take the risk. Jinan said to him. Water Demon moved his palm and a universe AI appeared on his palm. He checked the information and the water flowed on his body. I can use innate cardinal treasures to exchange for a large number of eternal pregnancy fruits. Water Demon suddenly said after a dozen seconds. Water Demon, one innate cardinal treasure might not be enough. We don't know how many eternal pregnancy fruits we need to stabilize our mind. I'm here for the second plan. Jinan continued speaking to him. Speak. Water Demon stared at him with flickering eyes. The Dragon King is in the depths now. Kill him and everything he has will be ours. Jinan's eyes flickered. Based on the information on the universe AI, we're not his match. Water Demon said. We have over 150 experts from the Devil Destroyer Circle over there. He snatched one of our space beasts. Jianghu said bluntly, in my current situation I can fight a few battles with all my strength if I can maintain my mind. Water Demon, you only need to create a powerful water clone. You can take 40% of the eternal embryo fruits. The 40% of the eternal embryo fruits he has should be no less than 200 or 300. Alright. Water Demon hesitated for a moment before nodding his head. A fight might allow him to break through and solve the problem of his heart demon. Naturally, he was decisive. Let's go. We have to rush over now to prevent him from escaping. Jinan's eyes lit up. Water Demon couldn't rush over with his true body because he would lose his mind if a battle broke out. When he lost his mind, he wouldn't be able to differentiate between friend and foe. Therefore, Water Demon could only come with his clone. Although he couldn't use his full strength, it wouldn't be a problem for him to fight against two old monsters in the invincible domain. Jinan himself, Water Demon, and over 150 experts from the Devil Destroyer Circle. He had an 80% chance of defeating the Dragon King. After all, when all these forces were added together, they could even defeat a second-order universe sovereign realm expert. In his opinion, an 80% chance of success was worth the risk. Their combined strength was equivalent to 4 mad demons. According to the information he got from the universe AI, the Dragon King's strength should be comparable to 3 mad demons. However, this was the depths of the invincible domain. He couldn't instantly return to his god kingdom. Even if he was slightly stronger than the opponent, he could defeat or even kill the opponent. You're too slow. Use your water energy on me. Void water escape. Water Demon's body was formed from the laws of water. His body glowed and turned into a small river. Alright, Water Demon, your water escape is the strongest in the invincible domain. Together with my energy boost, we can burst out with incredible speed. Jinan looked over and his eyes lit up. He laughed loudly. Boom. Jinan entered the small river and used his water energy. The entire tiny river flowed forward at an unimaginable speed. Chapter 3663, Swoosh. Within the invincible domain, Water Demon and Golden Leo flew towards the depths of the domain. Rumble. At this very moment, Wang Xian and the Lava Galactic Behemoth were engaged in a battle. The Lava Astral Beast was extremely powerful and had a terrifying body size. However, with Wang Xian's advantage in speed, the Lava Astral Beast could not put up any resistance. Dragon King, the 100-odd experts of the Magic Breakers have not left. They are hovering in the void ahead. I'm not sure what they are planning. At this moment, a voice was transmitted into Wang Xian's mind. Oh. Wang Xian raised his eyebrows when he heard Wuxia's voice transmission. The main reason why he did not let Wuxia attack was to let her be on guard. He had no intention of harming them, but he had to be on guard. The 100-odd old monsters were very powerful. Wang Xian wanted to prevent them from launching a sneak attack. Of course, he would be glad to see them launch a sneak attack. At that time he would kill them all. However, he was curious why the 100-odd old monsters of the Magic Breakers did not leave. Although they were very powerful, it was impossible for them to deal with him. He had killed the crazy demon seal. Some experts even guessed that the old witch had been killed by him. This news had spread throughout the invincible domain. Anyone with a little intelligence would be able to guess his strength. He was definitely not someone a crazy demon-level expert could deal with. He was not the Lava Astral Beast. Wuxia monitored them carefully. In addition, set up some arrays on the right to prevent any unexpected situations. Wang Xian's eyes flickered as he ordered Wuxia. At this moment, no one knew about Wang Xian's trump card. But for now his biggest trump card was Wuxia. Wuxia, a crazy demon-level expert. And a sorcerer. She was now hiding in the dark. If there was really an expert with ill intentions and wanted to deal with Wang Xian, Wuxia as his trump card would definitely be a terrifying existence. Not many experts in the invincible domain could withstand a crazy demon-level expert. Yes. Wuxia's voice was heard. I would like to see what you guys are up to. Wang Xian's eyes flickered as he looked at the Lava Astral Beast. He decided to kill it later to preserve his trump card. After all, the outside world still didn't know his full strength and trump cards. Slowing down the hunting speed of the giant Lava Astral Beast would also give the group of Magic Breakers an illusion. It was a misconception that he wasn't very strong. Originally, he could have killed the Lava Astral Beast within 10 minutes. However, Wang Xian had to drag it out forcefully. The battle over there is still going on. I don't know what's going on. Jiotong, go and check it out. Time ticked by. An hour later, the powerful divine tiger spoke to an old monster. Alright. Cast some concealment spells and formations on me. The Dragon King is too powerful. I'm afraid of being discovered. Nine Pupil nodded and swept his gaze around. Alright, with our formation enveloping you, the Dragon King won't be able to discover you when he's fighting the Lava Astral Beast. Moreover, your pupils can see very far. The Magi nodded and immediately enveloped the nine-eyed eye with a spell formation. Jiotong, an old monster of a demonic beast. With 4 claws it could lie on the ground or stand upright. His strongest talent was his eye technique. On his face there were 9 eyes arranged in 3 rows. Every time he opened an eye, he could unleash an even more powerful and bizarre eye technique. At the same time, his investigation was something that the other old monsters couldn't compare to. 9 Pupil was enveloped in a spell formation. With a move, he lay down and flew towards the direction of the battle. They weren't very far from the battlefield. Soon he was near the aftermath of the battle. He lay there and the eyes on his face slowly opened. His deep pupils emitted the power of light and dispelled all the obstacles. The scene of the battle between Wang Xian and the Lava Astral Beast was clearly transmitted to his eyes. The Dragon King is indeed powerful. His incredible speed has completely suppressed the lava astral beast. His defense is terrifying. From the looks of it, he should be able to kill the lava astral beast with ease. Jiao Tong mumbled to himself as he stared at Wang Xian, who was fighting the lava astral beast. Just as they had imagined, the Dragon King was very strong. However, he wasn't so strong that he could easily kill a crazy demon. Moreover, he had only suffered so many injuries after fighting with the lava astral beast for an hour. The Dragon King wasn't really invincible. His 9 pupils flickered slightly and the scene of the battle was completely sealed in his pupils. Dragon King, there's an expert from the demon-breaking circle watching your battle. Do you want me to go over and eliminate him? Wang Xian, who was in the midst of battle, heard Wuxia's voice again. No need, let him monitor. Wang Xian replied immediately. Yes. Wuxia replied. Her eyes flickered slightly and she continued to set up the spell formation around them. After observing the battle for more than 10 minutes, Jiao Tong moved and flew back. How's the battle between the Dragon King and the lava astral beast? When Jiao Tong arrived, over 100 experts from the demon-breaking circle asked immediately. Take a look for yourselves. I think it's within our expectations. Jiao Tong's pupils shone brightly as he displayed the scene of the battle just now. Looking at the battle on the screen, the eyes of the old monsters flickered. He's completely suppressed that lava astral beast. His speed is terrifying, but his attack seems to be much weaker. I think his strength is lower than we expected. We guessed that his combat strength is comparable to 3 crazy demons. Now it seems that he's about the same after using his other trump cards. I think even if he uses his trump cards, he'll at most be comparable to 2.5 crazy demons. However, this Dragon King should have many innate cardinal treasures. After all, his Dragon Palace has auctioned off innate cardinal treasures before. More than 100 experts began to speculate as they watched the battle unfold. Although he was already very strong, he wasn't as invincible as they had imagined. Lord Jinan will be here in an hour. When he arrives, let's report the situation to him. The old man in the illusory palace above his head spoke at this moment. The rest of the old monsters nodded their heads. Swoosh. An hour passed quickly. From behind them, a tiny river was flying towards them at a terrifying speed. Inside the tiny river, Jin too stood quietly. We're here. He looked ahead with sparkling eyes. Chapter 3664. Greetings, Lord Jinan. Greetings, Lord Jinan. Seeing Jinan and Water Devil's arrival, the Devil Breaker and the other experts immediately greeted Jinan. Jinan, the strongest expert in the circle of demon breakers, was also a mad demon in the invincible domain. Jinan nodded at them. Swoosh. At the side, the water slowly formed into the shape of a human. The powerful beings of the breaker circle faltered slightly at the sight of the figure manifested from the streams of water, and their faces were filled with astonishment. Water Demon. One of the experts couldn't help but exclaim. It's Water Demon. Greetings, Lord Water Demon. The eyes of the surrounding experts turned cold and they hurriedly cupped their fists. Water Demon looked at them and nodded lightly. This time I invited Water Demon here. What's the situation now? Jinan looked at them, swept her gaze forward and asked. From here, they could sense the terrifying battle coming from the depths ahead. Lord Jinan, the Dragon King is still fighting with the giant lava astral beast. This is a video I obtained not long ago. Jiao Tong looked at Jinan and said respectfully. His eyes flashed. The scene of the battle just now appeared in front of them once again. This Dragon King is very strong. Water Demon stared at the video. He's so strong. He hasn't broken through to the Universe Lord realm, but he hasn't lost his mind. That's because this Dragon King has enough eternal pregnancy fruits. He has consumed a lot of them at a fixed time. Jinan looked at the video and replied. In that case, this Dragon King's corpse alone is a treasure to us? Water Demon said lightly. It should be of great use to us. From the video, if we join forces, we have the confidence to kill him. Jinan's eyes flashed. The Dragon King was strong, but he felt that he could deal with him. This wasn't like the outside world, where it would take at least 3 experts to kill someone of the same level. This was the invincible domain, where it was difficult for anyone to escape. As long as one side was stronger than the other, there was a chance to kill the other. Then let's do it. It's best if we can capture him alive. Water Demon made his decision without hesitation. All right. Jinan also nodded heavily. He had the same thought, especially after seeing the battle between the Dragon King and the Lava Astral Beast. If all of them joined forces, they would be able to deal with him. Are you going to attack the Dragon King? Kill the Dragon King? If we have Lord Jinan and Lord Water Demon, our chances will be very high. Lord Jinan and Lord Water Demon are preparing to take action. They must be confident. Kill that Dragon King. How dare he steal our Lava Astral Behemoth? Destroy him. A dozen or so powerful beings from the Breaker Circle immediately exclaimed with excitement in their eyes. Are we going to attack the Dragon King? The eyes of some old monsters flickered. The Dragon King was very strong. There was a possibility of dying when fighting against the Dragon King. Get ready to attack the Dragon King. Water Demon and I will take the Dragon King's corpse. The colossal Lava Astral Beast belongs to you. If you don't agree, leave immediately. Jinan looked at all the experts and said indifferently. The exorcists exchanged glances with one another. Kill. We might be able to break through during the battle if we fight against an expert like the Dragon King. Haha, that Dragon King is very arrogant. He said he wanted to sweep the entire invincible domain. Let us, the exorcists, destroy him. That's right. Kill that Dragon King. How dare he steal our colossal Lava Astral Beast? Kill him. Soon the group of experts laughed and said, they were the old monsters of the invincible domain. They were not afraid of killing. They were not afraid of death at all. Now that they had to surround and kill a Dragon King who stole their colossal Lava Astral Beast and ruined their plans, none of them backed down. Kill. Moreover, as long as they killed the Dragon King, the colossal Lava Astral Beast would belong to all of them. A colossal Lava Astral Beast that was comparable to a crazy demon was very precious to them. Especially after Jinan refused the colossal Lava Astral Beast's heart. Alright, if that's the case, let's get ready to attack. To prevent that Dragon King from escaping, let's surround him. Jinan smiled faintly and ordered. The group of old monsters nodded heavily. Be careful. That Dragon King is very fast. He can easily defeat us one by one. The old man in the illusory palace reminded. I'll be in the center. Water Demon, Void Palace Immortal, and Baohu will be around me. Each of us will have 30 to 40 experts to prevent that Dragon King from beheading us with his powerful speed. Block his attacks and then suppress him. Jinan commanded. Alright. Water Demon had no objections. Although Water Demon and Jinan were of the same level, Water Demon was only a clone. Jinan, who was the strongest, was a crazy demon at his peak. Since Water Demon had no objections, the rest of the experts naturally had no objections. Void Palace Immortal, Shinhu, and Bao, who were all top experts in the invincible domain. They led 30 to 40 experts, which was enough to fight against a crazy demon-level expert. The experts in the circle of Devil Breakers were all very powerful. In the invincible domain, they were considered to be above average. Surround him bit by bit. Be careful, once you're discovered by that Dragon King, immediately attack with all your might. That Lava Astral Beast will also cause a lot of trouble for that Dragon King. This time it won't be difficult to kill or even suppress that Dragon King. Jinan said. With a wave of his palm, a golden mountain floated above his head. On the golden mountain, there was a special stream of water flowing on it. This golden mountain was an inborn cardinal treasure. As for the stream of water on the golden mountain, it was added by Jinan. It was also a very powerful treasure. He looked around and saw that Water Demon, Void Palace Immortal, and Bao, who each had an inborn cardinal treasure in front of them. They slowly approached the front. Dragon King, they're approaching. I think they're going to attack you. However, just as they moved, Wuxia's voice rang in Wang Xian's mind. He as expected. Wang Xian revealed a cold smile. He flapped his unbeginning sacred wings and smashed the 5 elements grindstone on the head of the Lava Astral Beast. In an instant, the Lava Astral Beast let out a blood-curdling scream. On Wang Xian's body there was a long gash. The body of the Lava Astral Beast fell to the ground and its vitality was rapidly disappearing. As for Wang Xian, his aura seemed much weaker. Jinan and the rest of the experts, who were encircling Dragon King, narrowed their eyes when they heard the blood-curdling scream of the Lava Astral Beast. Speed up. Let's observe the situation first. Jinan immediately sent a voice transmission and increased his speed. Against the Dragon King, he didn't dare to be careless. Chapter 3665. The golden centipede maniac devil flew towards the battlefield. Soon, the scene before him appeared in his sight. When he saw this scene, his eyes narrowed. The rest of the experts also saw the scene before them. The huge corpse of the lava astral beast was suspended in the air. The aura of the Dragon King was much weaker and there was a wound on his body from the lava astral beast's attack. What a fast speed. How did the Dragon King kill the lava astral beast so quickly? Impressive. The lava astral beast was killed by him. However, he was injured too. This is a great opportunity for us. He must have used some powerful trump card. This is our chance. The experts from the circle of demon breakers looked ahead with joy in their eyes. Jin Rong squinted his eyes and gave the order to attack. At this moment, the Dragon King happened to be injured. This was the time for them to attack. Wang swoosh swoosh. Jin Rong did not hesitate. The golden mountain in his hand flew up. Water flowed on it and it exploded with golden and blue radiance. A waterspout was formed instantly. In the middle of the waterspout was a horrifying golden mountain. It charged towards Wang Xian directly. Water Devil Palm. Celestial Kingdom, suppress. Divine Tiger Roar. From the left and right, horrifying attacks were launched towards Wang Xian instantly. What? Seeing them attacking him, Wang Xian pretended to be shocked and growled, "You guys are courting death." As he spoke, he kept the lava astral beast and dodged to the back without any hesitation. Haha, courting death? Dragon King, you are the one who is courting death. How dare you snatch the astral beast from the demon breakers? Today will be the day you die. Escape? Dragon King, don't even think about escaping. Didn't you say that you wanted to wipe out the entire invincible domain? Why are you escaping now? Seeing Wang Xian dodging to the right, the 150 experts from the circle of demon breakers were excited. They shouted loudly. The Dragon King did not fight them and escaped directly. This meant that the Dragon King was severely injured. Moreover, in order to kill the lava astral beast, he might have used a powerful technique. For now, that technique could not be used. Swish. Wang Xian moved his body and fled to the back quickly. Give chase. Golden Centipede Maniac Devil roared and suddenly increased his speed. As long as he could restrain the Dragon King temporarily, he would be able to surround the Dragon King. Once surrounded, he was confident that he could suppress them. We're here. Wang Xian continued to fly deeper. When he stepped into this region, a smile appeared on his face. However, he didn't stop. The group of exorcist experts behind him continued to pursue him. Wuxia, lock onto that guy who looks like a bee man. I'm going to kill him instantly. Wang Xian immediately ordered Wuxia. It's the Dragon King. He is Jin and also a Mad Devil expert. The other Water Man is Water Devil, also a Mad Devil. However, that Water Man is just a powerful water clone of Water Devil. Wuxia said to Wang Xian. Wang Xian nodded slightly. Wuxia had already noticed Jin 2 and Water Demon when they arrived. There must be a conspiracy behind their arrival. Wang Xian was already prepared. A pinnacle Mad Devil and a powerful clone of the Mad Devil. In addition, he could sense that there were 2 more powerful old monsters among them. If he could kill one of them in a second, Wang Xian could easily kill all of them in one fell swoop. I'll start with Golden Centipede. Let's see who's courting death. Wang Xian's unbeginning sacred wings flapped. The 5 elements grindstone and the Tai Chi dragon wheel glowed with light. In fact, in front of him, phantoms of nether ghosts began to appear. Dragon King, he's here. Wuxia's voice came from behind. Golden Centipede was the fastest. He was the first to step into the range of Wuxia's array. At this moment, Wuxia's array was fully activated. She targeted one of Golden Centipede's experts. 4 arrays, Trapping Array and Killing Array, were activated at the same time. At this moment, Wang Xian's unbeginning sacred wings flapped violently. The power of wind and thunder flowed rapidly. He quickly turned around and the nether ghost doppelgangers appeared on his left and right. Roar roar. Wang Xian let out a deep roar and transformed into his divine dragon form. The Tai Chi dragon wheel circled him and the 5 elements grindstone hovered above his head. Lingling had also appeared beside Wang Xian. All sorts of augmentation abilities were cast on Wang Xian. At this moment he unleashed all his energy and trump cards. Swoosh. His dragon body flickered and disappeared instantly. Oh no. Oh no, there's an ambush. When Golden Centipede sensed the energy of the surrounding array, he suddenly had a bad feeling. In particular, when he sensed the drastic change in the aura of the Dragon King in front of him, his expression changed drastically. With a wave of his arm, Golden Centipede flew towards him and instantly arrived above his head. Golden light shrouded the water. And he was in the middle, completely enveloped by the golden light and water. What a terrifying speed. The Dragon King doesn't seem to be injured at all. Could he have known about our attack in advance? What's with this array? At this moment, he was filled with doubts. Oh no, there's an ambush. It's an array. At the back, over 150 experts were stunned when they saw the sudden surge of power. They shouted loudly. Rumble, rumble, rumble. The moment they realized it, the 4 terrifying arrays were already descending on Golden Centipede. The mad demon Golden Centipede was very strong. However, he was facing the strongest sorcerer in the invincible domain, the Old Witch. Caught off guard, he could only use his inborn cardinal treasure to defend himself. However, he was caught off guard by the Old Witch's well-prepared attack. When the terrifying array landed on the inborn cardinal treasure, the entire inborn cardinal treasure, Golden Centipede, shook violently. The water flow on it also stopped instantly. The massive Golden Centipede was sent flying backwards. At this moment, Wuxia appeared in front of him. The terrifying 5-elemental grindstone arrived above his head. The 5 divine dragons revolved rapidly as the destructive power of the 5-elemental grindstone surged towards him. The Tai Chi dragon coiling light and dark divine dragon covered the dragon claws as they clawed towards him. On the left and right, 4 dark ghost avatars charged towards him at the same time. No, no, no. The mad demon Golden Centipede trembled violently at the sight of this terrifying attack. If the attack of the array had caught him off guard and could already injure him, Wuxia's attack could already be fatal to him. He could clearly sense the threat of death. This was an attack that would definitely kill him. However, given Wuxia's speed, he couldn't block it at all. The destructive force of the 5 elements penetrated his body as the dragon claws grabbed him. Instant. Chapter 3666. Cough, cough. Jianghu's eyes widened in disbelief. His mouth was agape and his body was trembling violently. His vitality was disappearing at a terrifying speed. His eyes were filled with disbelief. He was killed in an instant. Killed in an instant. He didn't even have the strength to resist. He didn't even understand why the Dragon King would set up such a horrifying array here. Were there sorcerers around? What was going on? He died just like that. He couldn't accept it. But at the same time he was horrified. What? How could this be possible, Lord Jianghu? Lord Jianghu. Lord Jianghu. Behind him, the group of over 150 experts from the Circle of Demon Breakers and Water Demon's doppelganger trembled violently when they saw this. Their eyes widened as they stared at this scene in disbelief. Mad Demon Jianghu, their Lord Jianghu, one of the most elite existences in the invincible domain. The strongest expert among them was killed in an instant. Killed in an instant without any time to dodge. What kind of power was that? Where did that horrifying array come from? How could the Dragon King's attack be so horrifying? Lord Jianghu was killed. Why were they still resisting the godlike Dragon King? It's your turn now. After killing Jianghu, Wuxia could sense that Jianghu was not completely dead yet. He had been resurrected somewhere else. But now he was no longer a threat to Wuxia. He shook his dragon body and flapped his unbeginning saint wings. He stared coldly at the group of experts from the Circle of Demon Breakers. Swoosh. In an instant, Wuxia, who had pushed his speed to the limit, arrived before the group of experts from the Circle of Demon Breakers. He locked his eyes on the Void Palace Immortal and the surrounding experts and charged forward. Oh no, he's under attack. Attack the Dragon King. The Void Palace Immortal shouted in horror as he trembled violently when he saw Wuxia charging towards him. Bao Hu and the rest of the experts from the Circle of Demon Breakers looked over and their expressions changed drastically. Their Lord Jianghu was dead. It was impossible for them to kill the Dragon King. Swoosh, swoosh. At this instant, Water Demon, who was at the side, retreated immediately when he saw this scene. There was no hesitation, no pause. After seeing Jinan's death, he already knew the outcome of this battle. What? Lord Water Demon. Water Demon escaped. The experts in the Circle of Demon Breakers around Water Demon roared in anger when they saw Water Demon leaving. Now that Water Demon had left, they were even less qualified to resist. Wuxia raised his eyebrows at the Water Demon's escape. I'll kill you first. Wuxia stared at the Void Palace Immortals and the group of experts. The Tai Chi Dragon disc spun, and the 5 elements grindstone hovered in the air. Facing the attack of 30 to 40 Void Palace Immortals, he directly charged forward. Boom. Wuxia broke through their attacks and came within 100,000 kilometers of them. The distance was too close, too close. Boom. With a wave of his arm, the 5 elements grindstone shrouded above them. The 4 dark ghost avatars had completely surrounded them. Each of the 4 dark ghost clones was comparable to experts like the Void Palace Immortals. Each of them was comparable to a universe lord. Even if the Void Palace Immortals joined forces, they could only deal with 3 dark ghost clones. Under such circumstances, how were they going to defend against Wang Xian's sneak attack? A huge suppression of strength. Bao Hu, save us. The Void Palace Immortals trembled violently as they saw the Dragon King's unstoppable attack. Save. Bao Hu's expression changed drastically as he looked at the surrounding experts. The experts in the circle of demon breakers exchanged looks. We are no match for the Dragon King. Run. Behind Bao Hu, an expert roared loudly. Without any hesitation, he also fled to the back. His actions had set a precedent for the other experts. Now they understood that with Lord Jin and Dead and Water Demon escaping, they were no longer a match for the Dragon King. If they stayed here, they might be killed. With one person escaping, the group of experts around Bao Hu did not hesitate and immediately ran away. However, just as they were about to escape, an array shrouded them. Water Demon escaped very quickly. Wuxia, who was hiding in the dark, had just released her array and did not have the chance to stop him. However, it was too late for the rest of the experts. One after another, extremely powerful array formations shrouded them. They were completely surrounded. The dozens of experts who were about to escape were instantly shrouded in a black mist. In the depths of the mist, horrifying snakeheads could be seen. Oh no, there's a sorcerer in the dark, an array sorcerer. He's very powerful. Bao Hu's heart skipped a beat when he saw the array that had suddenly risen. If the array hadn't attacked Lord Jin from the start, perhaps he wouldn't have been killed instantly. The sorcerer behind the array that could knock away Lord Jin's Khanate Cardinal treasure was definitely very powerful. Arg! At this moment, screams came from the side. Dark ghost clones, dark ghost clones. Dragon King, how could you have dark ghost clones? How is this possible? Run, run, run. The strength of this Dragon King is too horrifying. We can't stop him. Horrified voices rang out continuously. The Void Palace Immortal was already screaming. Arg! At this moment, the illusory palace above the Void Palace Immortal's head had almost solidified. Within the palace, the spells and Dao techniques were bombarding Wang Xian. However, they couldn't break through Wang Xian's defense. The Void Palace Immortal's eyes were filled with despair. He was doomed. There was no way to escape. They couldn't return to their own holy kingdom instantly. They would definitely die. Dragon Breath of Life. Wang Xian bellowed. Streaks of horrifying wood attribute attacks shrouded the Void Palace Immortal and the rest of the experts. This attack made the Void Palace Immortal and the rest of the experts feel a little hopeless. The Circle of Devil Breakers? Don't even think of escaping. Under the attack of Wang Xian and the Dark Ghost clones, only 7 or 8 experts were left of the 30 to 40 experts around the Void Palace Immortal. Wang Xian waved his arm and the 5 elements grindstone flew out and attacked Bao Hu and the rest of the experts. At the same time, Wang Xian didn't continue to care about the remaining experts. It was a piece of cake to leave it to the Dark Ghost clones. Bao Hu and the rest of the experts had just been enveloped by the array. Before they could break the array, they saw the Supreme Treasure and the Dragon King attacking them with Death Aura. This made them hold their breaths. Chapter 3667, It's over, it's all over. Why is the Dragon King so strong? We didn't even see the face of the hidden sorcerer. I don't have any life-saving treasures. I haven't broken through. I can't accept this. Bao Hu and the experts around him trembled violently. Their faces were filled with despair. Looking at the Dragon King and the horrifying 5 elements grindstone, they lost all will to fight. There was no way to resist. From the start to the end, they did not even see the Magus hiding in the dark. It wasn't that they didn't see him, but they didn't have the chance to see him. The sorcerer was clearly behind them. However, they couldn't see him clearly because they were shrouded by the spirit array. In addition, the Dragon King charged straight at them and didn't give them a chance to see him clearly. Therefore, they didn't realize that the one who attacked them was the old witch. If they knew, they would probably feel even more despair. Inborn technique, all of you shall die. Wang Xian shouted. The 5 elements grindstone released all kinds of powerful inborn spiritual treasures and shrouded them. At the same time, he moved and charged at Bao Hu. The huge difference in strength made it impossible for them to resist. We still have a chance. We still have a chance. Run. The group of experts who were originally following around Water Demon were the only ones who weren't tangled up. Their faces were filled with terror as they fled into the distance. However, the screams continued to ring out from behind. Bao Hu, a top-notch expert from the invincible domain, was killed in an instant. Wang Xian flapped his wings and chased after them without hesitation. With his speed, how could these old monsters hide from him? The old monsters were easily killed by Wang Xian. In less than 10 minutes all the experts were killed by him. This is a great harvest. Wang Xian had killed over 150 experts from the circle of demon breakers, as well as the frenzied golden bear demon. Wang Xian's rewards this time were simply too great. Inborn cardinal treasures, corpses of powerful old monsters, and the corpse of a giant galactic beast. All of these could bring great improvements to the Dragon Palace. Dragon King, you're really strong. I only used some spirit arrays and you killed all of them. At this moment, Wuxia flew out from behind and said with respect and admiration. Wang Xian's strength had indeed shocked her. It's all right. Wang Xian smiled faintly and said, Wuxia, let's go. Let's head to the lair of the Exorcist Circle immediately. Hurry. As he spoke, the unbeginning saint wings flapped and enveloped him directly, and he flew out. Naturally, they were going for the divine kingdoms and the treasures within them. Whether it was the mad demon Golden Leo or the rest of the old monsters, all their treasures and resources were in their own divine kingdoms. Not to mention the value of the god nation itself, just the other treasures as old monsters of the invincible domain who had lived for billions of years, how could they not have something good? At the very least, treasures like the divine tree and divine grass wouldn't be few in number. Might even be a huge number. Their savings and the treasures collected by these 10 experts should be comparable to a powerful high-level race in the outside world. Furthermore, it was a high-level race with several third-order universe sovereigns. It would not be an exaggeration to say that if they killed them and obtained their divine kingdoms, then they would be able to harvest all the treasures of a dozen high-level races. In particular, the divine kingdom of the mad demon Golden Leo would contain even more treasures. In fact, this could even bring Wang Xian a huge amount of dragon energy, which would be a huge accumulation for his next advancement. Wuxia, use these corpses to find the location of their divine kingdoms. As Wang Xian flew, he passed the corpses to Wuxia beside him. Sorcerers could use corpses to find the location of the dead experts' divine kingdoms. Yes, Dragon King. Wuxia nodded and immediately began searching. At my top speed, it will take about 2 hours to fly from here to the outside world. Wang Xian murmured as he stared ahead. This speed was already terrifying. However, he was a little worried that some experts who had life-saving means and resurrected would escape. Especially Jean Leo. If he escaped with his divine kingdom, it would be a great loss. Dragon King, it seems that the divine kingdom of the mad demon Golden Leo should be in the lair of the Exorcist Circle. Many of the Exorcist experts' divine kingdoms are located in the same place. Before long, Wuxia spoke. The Exorcist Circle could be said to be a force. A special force in the invincible domain. They were determined to build a pinnacle force. As a force, they would naturally place their divine kingdom in their lair. At least, 80% of the experts in the Exorcist Circle would do so. Wang Xian flew at high speed. That Dragon King is so strong and terrifying. And that array. There must be a powerful sorcerer beside the Dragon King. Damn it. My cultivation, my strength. At this moment, in the lair of the Exorcist Circle in the invincible domain. The lair of the Exorcist Circle was located on the side of the Long River. Over there, an incomparably powerful divine kingdom was embedded in the void chasm. Even after more than 10 billion years, this dilapidated divine kingdom still contained great power. This was the dilapidated divine kingdom of a universe lord. Moreover, it was not an ordinary first or second order universe lord. However, this divine kingdom was embedded in the void chasm, and there was a void storm surrounding the void chasm. In order to take this dilapidated divine kingdom away, they had to deal with the void storm. And this terrifying windstorm could easily kill a second-order universe ruler. Within this dilapidated divine kingdom, Mad Devil Gene 2's divine kingdom was located. He stood in the main hall of the divine kingdom, his body trembling slightly, and his eyes filled with rage. In just an instant he was killed by the Dragon King. Fortunately, he had a life-saving treasure. However, a life-saving treasure could only protect his life. His original body and the energy within it had been completely lost. Now he only had the strength of a second-order universe lord. To be able to retain such strength was already very strong. However, if he wanted to recover to his peak, he would need a lot of resources and treasures. I wonder what's going on with the Void Palace. I was killed in an instant. The Void Palace is no match for the Dragon King, especially when he has a powerful sorcerer. Who would have thought that I would be ambushed by the Dragon King? Is there an expert in the Exorcist Circle who colluded with the Dragon King, or? Jianghu's expression changed constantly. At this moment, he sensed something and quickly looked towards a stone tablet in the main hall. When he saw the light spots on the stone tablet dimming, his expression changed. Chapter 3668. The stone steel in the Divine Kingdom's main hall was able to see if the experts of the Broken Devil Circle were alive or dead. The moment an expert died, the light that belonged to him would disappear. At this moment, Jin Chuang saw that most of the Demon Breaker powerhouses on the steel had been extinguished. This meant that the 150 experts of the Broken Devil Circle were all dead. Isn't this speed too fast? Could there be an ambush? We're finished, the entire Broken Devil Circle is finished. Jianghu's body trembled violently, and his expression changed continuously. Since you're all dead, I'll help you collect the treasures in the Divine Kingdom. This is to prevent the Dragon King from finding them. Jianghu's expression sank as he muttered to himself. Right now his strength was less than 1/100th of his peak. He was only a second-order universe sovereign. With such strength, he would be considered a weak existence even in the invincible domain. If he wanted to recover quickly, he would need a large amount of resources. Now that the experts of the Broken Devil Circle were dead, he would be able to obtain the treasures in their divine kingdoms. That way he would be able to recover his strength quickly. The Dragon King's speed is too fast. Based on his speed, if he rushes over directly, it will take him 1 to 2 hours. I need to bring their divine kingdoms and treasures to my divine kingdom within an hour. As he spoke, Maniac Golden Blaze's figure flashed and he immediately flew out. Even though the divine kingdom they were in was destroyed, it wasn't as simple as they thought. Some places in the divine kingdom required some treasures to enter. Otherwise, even a second-order sovereign realm expert wouldn't be able to enter. The place where Jianghu was in was incomparably safe. Even 10 of him at his peak would not be able to break through. To enter, one needed a key. And this key was in his hands. Jianghu knew where the Broken Devil Circle and the other old monsters' divine kingdoms were located. Furthermore, he had a way to enter. He quickly arrived at a large hall by the side, holding a jade stone in his hand. The jade stone shone brightly, illuminating the area below. Below, a space was directly opened up. This space was incomparably huge and there were large numbers of divine kingdoms within. He quickly moved the divine kingdom into the space where his own divine kingdom was located. Lord Jinan is dead. All the other experts are dead. This was an expert that had been revived through a supreme treasure. He sensed the activity outside and flew out from his divine kingdom. His entire body was incomparably weak. He looked at Jianghu's behavior and said with sparkling eyes, "Move all the divine nations to the domain where my divine nations is. You go too. We'll hide in that domain and prevent the Dragon King from attacking." Jinan glanced at the expert and immediately said, All right. The expert, who was still in shock, immediately nodded. There were about 200 powerful demon breakers, but most of them were either cultivating in seclusion or going to other places to train. Only Jinan and the others were in their lair. Golden Blaze heaved a sigh of relief after moving all the divine kingdoms to his own. With these treasures in the divine kingdom, he would recover much faster. It was even to the extent that he could use the resources of the other powerhouses to recover to his peak. This time, out of more than 150 experts, 8 of them had life-saving treasures and survived. If I can recover to my peak, I'll wreak havoc in the Dragon Palace. Half an hour later, Golden Blaze sat on the throne in the main hall of the divine kingdom of Crazed Demon and said with a hideous face, the entire demon breakers were done for. He had been killed once too. He had to avenge himself. Although the Dragon King was heaven-defying, he was still very confident in dealing with the other disciples and experts of the Dragon Palace. Let's wreak havoc in the Dragon Palace. When the time comes, we'll target the disciples of the Dragon Palace and let the Dragon King know the price of killing us. In front of him, the 9 old monsters of the Demon Breakers also roared ferociously. They had all survived with the help of their life-saving treasures. All of them had been killed by Wuxia. However, each of them was weaker than the other. One of them even had the strength of a divine king. Let's improve our strength first. It's safer here. The Dragon King can't enter. As Golden Blaze spoke, He began to pick up the treasures he had collected and began to recover his strength. The other 9 old monsters nodded solemnly and flew towards their own divine kingdoms. Time passed quickly. The Dragon King is here. The lair of the demon breakers is just ahead. Time passed quickly. Wuxia pointed to a direction across the river and spoke to Wang Xian. Wang Xian looked over. That place was like a huge ancient city that pierced through the void. It looked exceptionally majestic and magnificent. The entire ancient city contained a terrifying amount of energy. It was especially so at the place where the crack in the void was filled with void storms. The energy within was extremely violent. Wang Xian nodded. Dragon King, based on my senses, their divine kingdom is here. Wuxia continued. Yes, even the resurrected golden blaze is here. They didn't escape. There should be a strong defense here. Otherwise they wouldn't be here, said Wang Xian as he swept his gaze across the surroundings. This place used to be known as the Traversing Void Ancient Divine Kingdom. It later became the lair of the Demon Breakers. The Traversing Void Ancient Divine Kingdom isn't completely destroyed. Some places still contain energy and laws. They should be hiding in this divine kingdom. Dragon King, this divine kingdom was built by at least a 4th Order Universe Lord. We don't have the key or the method to enter, Wuxia explained. Wang Xian nodded and moved closer to the Traversing Void Ancient Divine Kingdom. He looked around. Indeed, there were many places with strong restrictions. The Divine Kingdom also contained powerful energy and laws. These laws and energy came from the void storms at the crack in the void. Boom. Wang Xian waved his arm. The destructive force of the 5 elements attacked a part of the dilapidated Divine Kingdom. Boom. The attack landed on the Divine Kingdom, but it didn't budge at all. Wang Xian raised his eyebrows. This Traversing Void Ancient Divine Kingdom wasn't something he could break. He took out the Universe AI and sent a message. Soon he set up a devil spirit altar in front of him. Enlai's figure gradually appeared. Enlai, enter the interior of this divine kingdom and see which space has a large number of divine kingdoms. Be careful. Wang Xian instructed Enlai immediately when he saw him. At the same time, the Tai Chi dragon plate floated around him. Chapter 3669. Yes, Dragon King. Enlai appeared in front of Wang Xian and the rest and nodded his head respectfully in response. Although Enlai's strength was weak, it was terrifying to teleport in such a place. He had never encountered a place that could trap Enlai. Enlai looked around and saw the Tai Chi dragon plate around him. A smile appeared on his face. His body moved and disappeared in an instant. Wang Xian stood in the void and waited quietly. Enlai entered a space in the dilapidated holy nation. He looked around and disappeared instantly. Soon he came to a space full of holy nations. His eyes lit up when he saw the large number of holy nations. Oh, Dragon King, we found them. The next moment, Enlai came to Wang Xian and reported to him. Great, bring us there. Wang Xian smiled. Maniac Jinshi and the rest must have thought that they couldn't break through the strong defense here. Therefore they didn't leave. But they didn't expect there to be a mysterious existence like Enlai. Oh. Wang Xian and Wuxia were shrouded by Enlai. Their vision changed and huge holy nations appeared in their sight. Looking at these holy nations, Wang Xian's eyes beamed with excitement. There were more than 150 god kingdoms, and every single one of them contained immense power. This was the lair of the experts from the invincible domain. It contained all their collections and resources. There are still 9 of them alive. Through Wang Xian's senses, his eyes shone brightly. With a swift move, he charged towards the 9 experts. These 9 experts were now all living together. The powerful holy nation in the center. Huff. At this time, Maniac Jinshi and the 8 experts who were revived with their life-saving treasures did not sense Wang Xian's arrival. At this moment, they were standing in the main hall of Maniac Jinshi's holy nation, breathing heatedly as they stared ahead. In front of them, more than half of the main hall was filled with treasures. All kinds of holy nations with divine herbs, powerful books, the bones of giant astral beasts and powerful innate spiritual treasures. The amount was terrifying. They had gathered the treasures of more than 100 experts together. This was only a part of it. There were still some divine trees and divine herbs that were still growing in those holy nations. They didn't bring them over. These treasures could allow them to quickly recover their strength, allowing them to return to their peak. For a few powerhouses, these treasures might even allow them to advance further. Their breathing was slightly hurried and excited. Perhaps this time they would be able to profit from this disaster. First, distribute the treasures that can help you recover. Once your strength is fully restored, you can use these treasures to enhance your strength again. Once we recover to our peak, we will seek revenge on the Dragon King of Dragon Palace. We are no match for him, but as long as we keep an eye on the experts and disciples of Dragon Palace, it will be enough. Golden Bear stared at them and said, "It's Lord Jinan." Everyone nodded their heads respectfully, their eyes burning with passion. Boom. But at this moment the entire God Kingdom suddenly trembled. What? The sudden trembling of the Mad Fiend Divine Kingdom caused all the experts to be taken aback. Their faces were filled with astonishment. Not good, someone's intruding into my Divine Kingdom. How is this possible? Golden Blaze's eyes widened as he roared in disbelief. He could clearly sense that a terrifying force was invading his body. Against this force, his Divine Kingdom could not withstand it at all. Hee, old fogey from the Evil Breaker Circle. After attacking me you still want to deal with our Dragon Palace? Go to hell. Ka. At this moment, the sound of the void shattering reverberated. Golden Blaze's Divine Kingdom was torn apart. Wang Xian's figure appeared in their line of sight. His body contained a terrifying dragon might, which directly swept towards them. This surge of dragon might was enough to kill a second-order sovereign realm expert. It's the Dragon King. How is this possible? How can he enter the core of the Hongshu ancient Divine Kingdom? How is this possible? Golden Bear and the 8 experts stared at this scene in disbelief and despair. As Wang Xian's dragon might swept across, the entire Divine Kingdom of Golden Bear trembled as it tried to resist the power of the dragon might. It's over. At this moment, Golden Bear felt the power of the dragon might, and his eyes were filled with despair. But at this moment, his eyes widened again as he stared at the familiar figure beside Wang Xian in horror. How is this possible? Old Witch, it's you? He roared in disbelief. The Old Witch was actually standing beside the Dragon King. What's going on? Trying to kill the Dragon King? You're courting death. The Old Witch stared at Golden Bear and said emotionlessly. Golden Bear's body trembled violently as his eyes gradually turned bloodshot. Ark. At this moment, the 8 subordinates in front of him crumbled under the sweeping dragon might. They knelt on the ground as their vitality rapidly disappeared. Ark. When he saw this scene, his expression changed drastically as the dragon might crushed towards him. Golden Bear roared crazily as he tried to defend himself. His expression turned malevolent as he took out the universe AI and sent out a message. Consuming a large amount of eternal pregnancy fruit can allow top-notch experts and mad demons to break through the shackles and reach the universe sovereign realm. His body started to crumble, but he still sent out this message before he died. Consuming a large amount of eternal pregnancy fruit can allow top-notch experts and mad demons to break through. The main reason he sent out this message was to create trouble for the Dragon King. In fact, they even hoped that there would be experts with the strength to kill the Dragon King. Even though he knew that the chances of that happening were slim. But this was the only thing he could do before he died. He wasn't willing to die just like that. He wanted to create huge trouble for the Dragon King. Once he sent out this message, he knew that many mad demons and old monsters in the invincible domain wouldn't be able to sit still. They would definitely think of ways to obtain a large amount of eternal pregnancy fruit. This was an overt plot. However, his message wasn't fake. If the mad demons obtained enough eternal pregnancy fruit, they would have a 100% chance of breaking through. As for the top-notch experts in the invincible domain, if they obtained enough eternal pregnancy fruit, they would also have a chance of breaking through. Bam. After he sent out the message, he fell to the ground with no signs of life left. This time he was completely dead. Wang Xian noticed Golden Bear's little action, but he didn't stop him. His gaze swept forward with a fervent look in his eyes. Chapter 3670. Treasures, a huge amount of treasures. Wang Xian stared at the treasures in the hall with a fiery look in his eyes. To Wang Xian, all of these treasures were a huge amount of resources. Some of the elixir pills, divine fruits, and herbs could strengthen his dragon energy after he consumed them. Swish. With a flick of his palm, he kept all the treasures. He moved and started to check the treasures in Jin Xian's kingdom. From Jin Xian's kingdom, Wang Xian obtained many precious treasures. Just the number of divine trees and herbs planted in Jin Xian's kingdom numbered in the tens of thousands. Moreover, each of them was of a very high level. The strength of an existence at the crazed demon level was far beyond a first-order universe lord. His entire life's collection was a huge number. After searching in Jin Xian's kingdom, he immediately went to the other kingdoms next to it. From these kingdoms, Wang Xian also found a large number of divine trees and herbs. In fact, some of the divine trees had reached the Universe Lord realm, but they had yet to bear fruits. Many experts in the circle of devil breakers were experts from the top races. They had all kinds of collections and items, including many precious treasures. It took Wang Xian more than 2 hours to finish touring all the heavenly nations. He kept all the elixir pills, divine fruits and other resources that could be of use to him. The rest were all sent to the Dragon Palace. This time the devouring dragon had improved a lot. Dragon King, before Jin Xian died, he sent out a message that caused quite a stir in the invincible domain. You might have to be more careful from now on. When Wang Xian was done with all the kingdoms, Wuxia flew over and reported to him. Oh. Wang Xian raised an eyebrow and immediately took out the Universe AI. He had seen Jin Xian's little tricks before his death. He opened the Universe AI and did a search. Soon he squinted his eyes and smirked. Wang Xian revealed a faint smile when he saw the message. Hee, it said that consuming large amounts of eternal pregnancy fruit can help crazed demon break through. That's true. Wang Xian said with a smile. Crazed demon Jin Xian's actions were very obvious. He wanted the experts of the invincible domain to kill Wang Xian and snatch his treasures. However, Wang Xian wasn't nervous at all. On the contrary, he was happy to see this happen. It would be difficult for Mad Demon to team up. Without Mad Demon's help, he and Wuxia had nothing to fear. On the contrary, as long as there were experts who dared to target him, Wang Xian would definitely let them know what despair was. I'll cultivate for a while. Wuxia, go and find Water Demon. See if you can find him. Inform me as soon as you find him. Wang Xian looked at Wuxia and instructed her. This time there was another water demon that came to kill him. An existence at the level of a mad demon. As for Water Demon, Wang Xian was prepared to find him and destroy him. Since an old monster had attacked him, he would retaliate fiercely. It's Dragon King. Wuxia nodded and left immediately after learning how to enter and exit the void ancient divine kingdom. Wang Xian did not leave immediately. He took out the resources he had obtained this time and began devouring them immediately, converting them into dragon energy. The harvest this time was too great. He guessed that it would increase his strength by at least 70 to 80%. As a result, he was only left with 20% to 30% dragon energy for the next upgrade. What was going on? Why did Mad Demon Jin Xian suddenly send out such a message? He actually said that as long as there are enough eternal pregnancy fruits, both mad demons and top experts can break through the shackles? Is this real or fake? Why did Mad Demon Golden Blaze suddenly announce this matter? What happened? Is Mad Gold Centipede telling the truth? As Wang Xian began to devour resources and Wuxia searched for Water Demon in the Long River, the news of Mad Demon Jin Xian spread like wildfire in the Invincible Domain. Recently, the Invincible Domain had become much more lively because of the Dragon King's arrival. Now that a Mad Demon suddenly released such a message, many old monsters were shocked. Mad Demon Jin Xian's words were still trustworthy. After all, he was a famous existence in the entire Invincible Domain. The Mad Demon among the old monsters, the strongest force in the Invincible Domain, and the strongest expert in the circle of demon breakers. No matter which identity he had, it could prove the authenticity of Mad Demon Jin Xian's message. In particular, many old monsters in the Invincible Domain had consumed the eternal pregnancy fruit. It was indeed extremely beneficial. This also made them believe that Mad Demon Jin Xian's message was not fabricated out of thin air. A message that could allow experts to break through really shocked the Invincible Domain. The ultimate goal of every old monster in the Invincible Domain was to break through and become the universe dominator. Now that there was such a sudden opportunity, no expert was willing to give it up. Especially for the top experts in the Invincible Domain and the few mad demons. Mad demons and top experts can break through by consuming large amounts of eternal pregnancy fruit. How many eternal pregnancy fruits do they need? Moreover, the price of the divine fruit is too high. It's a ripoff. The Dragon King should still have a lot of eternal pregnancy fruits. He said that if you want to buy them, you can contact him through the Universe AI. It's too expensive, too expensive. If we want more than 100 of them, doesn't that mean that we have to use innate cardinal treasures to trade with him? Not all of the mad demons have innate cardinal treasures. Some of the old monsters were tempted and burning with passion. This was the only way for them to break through the shackles in more than 10 billion years. But when they thought of the price of the eternal pregnancy fruit, they felt terrible. The price was too high. Within 100, the top old monsters in the invincible domain could exchange for it. But if they needed more than 100, they didn't have that many resources. Why did Mad Demon Gene Show suddenly announce this news? Does he have a feud with the Dragon King? No matter what, let's add fuel to the fire and ignite it in the invincible domain. That's right. Now we can basically lock onto the position of the Dragon King. If a large number of experts are tempted and powerful mad demons attack the Dragon King at the same time, the Dragon King might be killed without us doing anything. Pay attention to the news of the Dragon King at all times. Now that the Dragon King is in high demand, there will definitely be a large number of experts eyeing him. If the Dragon King is killed by other mad demons, we have to get his corpse or flesh to hand over to the third prince. I think it's best if the Dragon King is severely injured. We can suppress him and get those eternal pregnancy fruits. At the same time, somewhere in the depths of the invincible domain, a dozen angels were discussing. In front of them, there was a strange demonic beast with a long nose and huge eyes. They had been tracking Wang Xian's movements. You're tuning in to the Han Li's Wuxia Adventures YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.